Now we're going to talk about large language models. Large language models, I'm sure lots of you got involved with them, tried them at one point, used them. We're talking about like ChatGPT, Gemini. But as a physician, when you're using this large language model, there are some questions like you have to ask yourself. Which company is offering this tool? Because a company like OpenAI offering ChatGPT, the AI is going to be different than a company like Google offering Gemini, and it's going to be very different from a company like Anthropic offering Claude. Those are different teams, those are different engineers, although the different types of AIs are smart, but they have different levels of accuracy, they have different levels of approaching a question, and they use different database. For example, ChatGPT, Claude from Anthropic, Gemini, those are large language models that are generalized models. They are not trained on a specific data sets. They are trained on the data that the internet offers. And their answers are not specific for a physician. If you ask these models a question, and it's a medical question, the answer is going to be very general. And because the model thinks that they are answering like a non-medical person, unless you tell the model like you are a physician, so the model is going to change the way it's writing the answer. So the first question you ask yourself, which company is offering this tool? Because again, different companies offer different models and they have different capabilities and different benefits and also risks. Which model am I using? In a given company, there are different models. For example, OpenAI offers GPT-4, GPT-03, and these are different models. And again, those different models, or they are coming from the same company, but they have different strengths. For example, GPT-3 Mini is going to be different from GPT-03 Mini. It's going to be different from GPT-03. The 03 Mini is usually going to be faster, but less accurate. And GPT-03 is going to be slower. It's going to think step by step. It's going to try to give you more accurate answer, and it's going to be more accurate than GPT-4. Of course, all these are offered by OpenAI. Same applies for Gemini from Google. There is the Gemini Flash, there is Gemini the 2.5 Pro, the Gemini 2.5 Flash. So each company offers different models. So you have to ask yourself these questions. And it applies, for example, to me as an oncologist. We usually test for circulating tumor DNA, but there are different companies that test for this circulating tumor DNA. Is it, for example, Guardant? Is it Signatera? Is it Caris? Those are all measuring the circulating tumor DNA, but those are different companies. The same applies here. And is the model connected to the web or not? And usually most of the models right now have tools to connect to the web, but you have to think always that when you sometimes ask a question to a model, the model is going to answer you first from the data that it was trained on. And you can find the cutoff of this data when you do a general search. Like you search like what is the training cutoff for GPT-4, what is the training cutoff of Gemini's 2.5 Flash or Pro or whatever model you're using. Unless you tell the model that, hey, go and search the web. And most of the models right now, they are connected to the web. This is important for us as physicians, as healthcare workers, given that we're always looking for the newest guidelines and most recent guidelines. So keep in mind when you ask a question, ask yourself, where is the answer coming from? And if you want the most recent answer, tell the model, hey, go and search the internet. But this does not always apply. For example, if you use a medical AI, we're going to talk about more in detail about OpenEvidence, or Glass Health. These tools, you don't need to tell them specifically go and search the health. They will automatically do this. What is the training data? We talked about it. What is the training data? So I just want to comment on this too. As I said, GPT from OpenAI is trained on the internet, but for example, OpenEvidence, they use, my understanding based on their publications, they use a small models that are trained on clinical data. So those are specialized models. Think about them like you have two different people. One person is like someone who is health enthusiast and reads a lot about health and knows about health, but that does not make them a doctor. And versus a specialized doctor, for example, in oncology, those two people have different skills and knowledge of medicine. The same applies for when we compare a GPT-4 or another large language model by a specialized small model. So these will offer different skills. The specialized small model that is trained on medical data is going to offer more accurate answers, but also it's going to be the accuracy is going to be narrow in a specific field, unlike GPT-4, which going to be able to more generalize. And what is the training cutoff? We talked about this. And so we're going to talk about first ChatGPT. I think this is the most popular tool right now, and lots of physicians know about ChatGPT since 2022. It's been all over the internet. But any tool you also use, you have to ask for yourself a free version versus paid version. And I use the paid version. I'm not paid to say this. I just like the paid version. I think the tools that offers are worth it. It's $25 a month. I use OpenAI's ChatGPT, I use Anthropic's Claude, I use Gemini's. So it depends really on what I need, and sometimes I might pay for a tool versus the other. So this is the link if you want to access it, or you can just search. And I said it offers different models, and in my opinion, it offers the best deep research. If you are searching on a general topic, let's say you want to know something about a health trend, and you want really to go and read 15 pages or like 15 web pages or 15 websites, but you don't have the time and you want a summary of those 15 or 20 or 30 web pages, the most important web pages that talk about health trend. So deep research by ChatGPT, I'm going to show you how it works. I think it's the best. Of course, by the time of this recording, this is my own personal opinion. These models are changing rapidly. But that being said, and this is important, you always have to think about who is offering the model, where is your data going. For example, this is one of the recent news. I think this was like June 24, 2025. This is very recent. So now the judge, there is like a lawsuit against OpenAI by the New York Times. And now OpenAI is mandated to keep all the chats, even if you delete them. So if you go and you delete your chats, and let's say these chats by accident contained health information. We're going to talk about health information. What does health information, what does privacy mean in this days and age? But even if you delete them, they're going to be still stored in OpenAI's servers in case in the future there is a lawsuit. So that makes us wonder, okay, so what if there is a data leak, there is a data breach at one point? What happens? So you have to think about that always. I don't know if this applies to other large language models providers like Gemini or Anthropic, but something to keep in mind. Now Gemini is from Google. Also they have free version, paid version. This is the link. And also you can access most of the models from Google Gemini for free, even the advanced one, by going to the Google AI Studio. This is the link. It's free for now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but you can access most of the models that Gemini, or I think all the models, and you can even chat with the models, share your screen, share your video, send videos, and that makes Gemini models a bit different because like they can see your screen and in real time you can talk to them, and you can do this for free at now. Like we're recording, this is July 22nd, 2025. Things are going to change. Claude Anthropic, this is another tool. There is a free and there is a paid version. You have Perplexity. Perplexity, think about it more like as a research tool rather than they offer their own large language model, because whenever you do a search or whenever you type a question, your answers are going to be backed by references from the internet, despite that they do have large language models. But I don't think about like Perplexity as a large language model. I think about it more as an AI in a search engine. It's really good. I really like it. Their search, I think, beats, like right now in this day and age, I don't really type my questions on Google. I usually type on Perplexity. I type on, even Perplexity give you images, and ChatGPT does that too. But if I'm gonna surf the internet, I trust Perplexity more. Free version, paid version, as I said. Those are the links. Now let's talk about medical models. In terms of medical models, we have OpenEvidence. So we're going to talk about GPT wrapper and what that makes. What does that mean? So OpenEvidence, they provide I think they have small models that are trained on clinical data, and they are linked or connected to PubMed. And now recently they signed a contract with New England Journal of Medicine and JAMA. So I really trust their answers. I really like them. But the best thing, OpenEvidence, like it's a free. It's like you don't need to pay anything, but they need your MPI number, and they make their money by advertisement. That's my understanding. I haven't read their terms and policies in detail. I don't think your data or your questions are being sold, because pharma companies still have interest in that. Like they want to see what questions physicians are asking and to focus their marketing. But my understanding is their income is mainly based from, I might be wrong, but my understanding is their income comes from advertisement they do on their website. But you need an MPI number to get on an account. And this is the link. So now we're going to talk about GPT wrappers. What does GPT wrapper mean? GPT wrapper, think about it as like a chicken breast sandwich. You want sometimes to eat chicken breast, but you wrap it with a piece of bread. Eventually, you're eating a chicken breast. The bread is something to cover it. You're getting your protein, right? And the same thing applies in GPT wrappers. You get your answer, but your protein does not come from the bread. The protein comes from the chicken breast. So the GPT wrapper, it's a tool. It's just like a piece of bread around GPT or around Google Gemini. They just change the user interface, and you chat with the website, but in reality, you're chatting with Google Geminis, or you're chatting with Claude, Anthropic, or you're chatting with OpenAI GPTs. So those are GPT wrappers. I think Doximity, they offer GPT wrapper. Doximity, like Facebook for physicians. It's a social media. They offer fax. They offer phone number for physicians for free. I really like them. They are very, very useful tools. They offer lots of useful tools. And they have Doximity GPT. They say it's a HIPAA compliant AI. Their back end, it's a GPT. So they get their AI from OpenAI. And they make it HIPAA compliant. So it's a GPT wrapper. And they also offer this HIPAA compliant where you can ask questions, and we're going to talk about putting patient's information, but I would not put patient information here, or patient identifying information. Those are two different things. We're going to talk about this in a second, in the coming lessons. So your data is going to OpenAI, and given the current law rules and like things are not really obvious what's going to happen with the deleted chats and what does HIPAA compliant means for OpenAI, I would not put any patient identifying information in Doximity GPT. But again, it's really great tool to ask medical questions. It's a free. There is no paid version. This is incorrect. There is no paid version for Doximity, and this is the link. So this is a general also comparison among these tools. Of course, there are much more than this. We're going to talk about them as we talk about the different contexts that physicians face. But one of the things I want to focus or highlight is the context window and the internet access. So as I said, not all tools have internet access. You ask them to access the internet, but it looks like I think Claude Opus 4 is connected to the internet no matter what. But GPT-4 and Gemini, they are not. But when you ask them to access the internet, they will access the internet. The context window is an important thing to understand. So the context window size, it's how much information you can put in a single chat, in a single question. And Gemini has the highest number of words you can put. So tokens, think about it in simple terms, words. Usually token, it's we're not going to go into nitty-gritty details, but think about token as a word. So in Gemini Pro, you can put around like 800,000 to a million word. That means you can upload a full PDF, and Gemini Pro will be able to access that PDF and search that PDF without getting really lost in the middle. There's a phenomenon called lost in the middle, where AI tools do better at the beginning of the text corpus, and at the end of the text corpus. GPT-4 at this point, this might change. The standard is 32,000 tokens, but I think they are up to 1 million tokens. And different tools again offer different chat window size. So if you're going to upload a document that are like thousands of pages, and it doesn't have patient identifying information, but you want to search this document, I wouldn't do that on ChatGPT. I would do this on Gemini Pro, because I know that Gemini, Google's tools, have better ability to search big documents, for example, a book. And we'll talk about the strengths, and this is in general what large language models means. And next we're going to talk about prompt engineering and what are the important prompts for physicians to know and to use.